Baker Showcase. We have Leo here all the way from Australia. He's with Money Every 3 Days Bakery. Thank you so much for coming out, Leo. I appreciate it. Coming in from Australia. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. Thanks, Shane. How are you?
I'm great. I've always loved your slogan. I've seen your slogan, Money Every 3 Days, and it's like, that's perfect because that explains Tezos in a nutshell. If people don't get the basis of it, that kind of really draws people in. So it's interesting. And I seen you've been such a successful bakery. How did you get into Tezos and how did you get into baking?
Well, I've really been fascinated with the whole cryptocurrency space since pretty early on. So I knew about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I was looking at the altcoin space, and I was actually told about Tezos by a friend who I met through trading Bitcoin back in the day.
Okay.
And he told me, Leo, you got to look at this Tezos. He was like cracking up laughing, like saying the name, like, because this was in the middle of the ICO mania boom. And
Yes.
and I thought, I mean, it sounds really wacky, but I was like, no, but like you got to look into it. Like there's some pretty big names like that are investing in this, like Tim Draper and yeah. So I had a look at the position paper and the white paper, and in the position paper, the very first thing it starts talking about is this game called, I don't know if you're aware about this, Nomic. Are you aware
No,
about?
no. I've seen the emergence, some of that stuff, but no, I didn't know about that. Tell me about that.
It's a very old kind of philosophical game where the rules are, well, first I think everyone's got to like roll a dice, and at the end of each turn, the rules get to change to whatever the participants propose.
Okay.
So there's got to be like a consensus kind of vote at the end of each roll of the dice, at the end of each round. And
Yeah.
this is the idea that Tezos is based off. So I thought that was really interesting.
Right. It's in the control of the people that hold it, right? We are fulfilling our own destiny, the users. So yeah, that's definitely what drew me to it also. That and things like the energy usage and stuff like that. And I was like, it's on the right track for sure. It's definitely, I see what they're doing and it makes sense to me, and it made a lot of sense to me. I was an ICO investor also. I was there since the ICO. So I've been around a long time. And to see it, kind of getting built up, even over the years, all the work that's been done with it, it's crazy to watch it grow.
Yeah. And I actually didn't like invest a whole amount and a huge amount or anything in the donation kind of fundraising thing. And I didn't, yeah, obviously there was some issues kind of getting up and running with the lawsuit and stuff. But
Yeah.
my friend was following it more closely than I was because he made a more significant investment. And so he was doing a baker, and he was telling me, Leo, like, this is really fun. You gotta like try this. And I was pretty confronted like with learning about how it all works and stuff. But once I got past that, first I delegated my Tezos to his bakery.
Right.
And I could see the rewards were coming in every 3 days. And I actually stole that name from the meme that I saw.
It's great. Yeah, it's great, Leo. It's
Batman.
it's very when you read through the names, you're just pops for some reason it pops out at you. So it's definitely good advertising. And it seems it's worked for you because you've had a lot of people that have chosen your bakery, and that's what it's about. And that's what I do at Tezos Bakers, is because I love seeing people like you that are just like enthusiasts. You picked it up, you ran with it, and you're doing well. You're being successful at it. And you're not Coinbase, you're not Binance, but you're doing good and you're succeeding in it, and you're succeeding within the ecosystem. And it's awesome. That's why I'm like, hey, we have to get out and talk to these people, and we have to see how everyone's doing. And doing great, good or bad, and how things are going, and that's just the basis of building a strong Tezos community.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
So, other than the bakery, are you into any other stuff like NFTs, or have you been following any of that? That's things that are being built on Tezos.
Yeah. I've really been enjoying FX hash recently, and learning about the whole generative art space, and
Yeah,
kind
it's
of,
growing. It was definitely getting very hot there. Go on.
yeah. Yeah, and I want to learn how to make generative art. So I've been learning a bit of P5JS,
Okay.
and that's just been really enjoyable, and learning how to code basically.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I see all the NFTs coming out, and I've seen the whole Manchester United NFTs, and there's been a lot of successes like that, and I could definitely see that, because even into the video games, I'm huge into gaming, and I could definitely see where you're having a digital collectible or a digital NFT that you're taking, not just from that game, but it's on the blockchain, and you have it for the next one, or you have it to sell or to give it to a friend. So that
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense, and I think Tezos can really excel in that area.
yeah.
So there's
Digital assets are huge, and it's only going to grow.
right, and Tezos, the fees are low because I've done a little bit of on Ethereum. I don't know if it's still the same way, but I was like, man, it was when crypto was hot, but the gas fees. I was doing a transaction, I was like, man, I got to pay. It was like $55 or something for gas fees.
It's
And
extortion.
yeah, and that's where Tezos really has the ability to thrive. And I know they're looking into things like transactions per second, but and I'm not even that technical of a person, but I do see that people are building. They're doing things. They're doing projects. Like you're doing projects with your bakery, and you're getting into stretching out in the ecosystem to see how far you can push things. Right?
Yeah. Have you seen that website TZ Flow, by the way?
No. What is it?
Oh, go to it right now. It's so good. It's called tzflow.com,
Okay.
and you can see like what's going on in Tezos like right now in the mempool.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out. Yeah, there's so many projects like that people are building. I've been on that object.com. I've checked out that. I've seen all the stuff going on with that, but I will definitely check that out, and I'll put a link for it on this video when we share it with people, so other
Awesome.
people can see these websites that people are building and use cases, things like that. So, um, as far as baking, are you guys still growing? How is that working out for you? Because I've talked to other bakers, and they've had like problems, maybe like with the bond, and they hit kind of a limit. And they're like, we're not taking any more people in our bakery, but you are accepting people. Is that true or no?
That's
Are you
right.
guys full?
Yeah. I'm trying to grow slowly and kind of gradually, because I've had issues in the past where it got too
Overwhelming, yeah.
yeah, and I had to acquire more Tezos, and the price was like $9, and my wife's saying,
Hmm.
"Just stop buying more Tezos."
Right.
And then of course the price went down, and that's the risks you've got to kind of
As a baker,
anticipate.
right, right.
Yeah.
And that's why, there's most bakers are charging around 15% fee, give or take. And, it's perfectly reasonable. People are putting this work. You're staying up to date on the upgrades, all those things that are going on. That takes your time and your energy. And that's another reason I started Tezos Bakers, because I wanted the smaller bakers, I wanted to reach out to them, just say thank you, because sometimes on a decentralized chain, you don't get that pat on the back or the recognition. And
That's true. Yeah.
the community, it's vitally important. The bakers that are out there is vitally important for Tezos, just to even remain decentralized. And it's interesting to see each one of the bakers, how unique their bakery is, even though we're all in the same code essentially, but everyone has like little specials or little deals, or some people drop NFTs, or they're just involved in different ways in the community. And then, so that's what I reach out to you guys to see where you guys, what makes you guys unique. So is there any other projects? Are you only into Tezos, or do you do other things?
We're only Tezos. So I guess there's not a lot that kind of makes us unique. We do donate, I think it's 10% of the fees that we charge to the Ukraine, like the Ukrainian defense.
Okay,
efforts.
yeah, definitely. That's awesome. Yeah, donate to community, things like that. That is, little things like that, they do make you unique, And if people are looking for a baker and they're like, which one do I decide? And they may look at money every 3 days and they may say, well, he does this and goes above. And to some people, they really look into a baker that deeply and to see, and it also get into, that's why I like these videos, because they get to meet you face to face.
Yeah.
To me, that's important, because I'm like, I want to see who my baker is. A lot of people like to remain anonymous, but for the ones that want to step up and say, hello, introduce themselves to the community, and that may be the extra step, what sets you apart also. So if
kudos to you for interviewing bakers, because I think you're the first person who's stepped up to try to kind of like
do
get
that.
To know the community.
Yeah, well, to be honest, the price kind of dropped because the whole market was down, and I saw some smaller bakers, including bakers that I was using. Some were getting discouraged, and I understood that, and sometimes it just is reaching out and saying thank you, just hang in there, because sometimes you don't realize there's a whole community of people behind Tezos, right? You just might see, the whole idea was you might see a public address, but behind that, that's a person. That's, Leo's project. That's Leo's baby. And that's why I thought it was vitally important to reach out to those bakers and just to, highlight them, appreciate them. And I started doing it because Tezos has been a hobby, and I've loved watching it grow. And, sometimes we wait around for other people, and we're like, hey, I wish somebody did something, right? Or why isn't the foundation or Tezos Commons doing this? Well, sometimes you just do it yourself, and that's okay, because it's a decentralized network, and we all play a part in it. We can all step up and build on it, or, like you said, the whole governance thing, it is what we make of it. It is what we're going to build out of it, and it's reliant on me and you and the users and the bakers, and everyone else also. So yeah, that was my reason behind it. But I've got a lot of good feedback from a lot of bakers. And so it's been a learning experience, and I tell them good or bad. I said, let's talk about it. What's going right and what's going wrong, because if there's things that need to be fixed, that's what's great about Tezos, is we don't fork it. We talk amongst each other. And maybe you can explain that. Have you looked into that?
One of the things I really liked when I kind of was learning about baking and Tezos is the community was always happy to help, like with any questions. Like whenever I got stuck, there was, like within 12 hours of asking, someone would reply like with something helpful or suggestion. And
that's awesome.
I was always able to kind of make some progress towards whatever the goal was, and whether it was getting the node running or
I've seen that between the bakers. Yeah, they really kind of reach on each other for technical guidance a lot. And you think it would be like competitive, but you're right, because I think people really do understand that it's not just one success story. It's either we're all going to succeed together, because it truly is a community, and we're going to succeed together, building and helping each other in the community. So that's really cool.
There's a bakers Slack channel for the bakers to kind of hang out and ask technical questions.
Okay.
It's definitely worth knowing about if you are baking and not part of that. I think you need to send an email to somewhere to get invited.
That's a good thing you said that.
Very helpful, but
that's a good thing you said that, because I was on Reddit a lot, and that's kind of how I was reading about Tezos. I was on Reddit, and I maybe post on Reddit, and they're like, hey man, we're hanging out on Discord, or we're on these Telegram or these different social media channels that I wasn't used to. But then you get on there and you really see where the community's at, in some aspects, like you said, Slack. So that's a really good spot. You're right. If people reach out, if they have questions.
There's also a Tezos developer Slack if anybody's building things and getting stuck.
Right.
that's a great place to go to ask questions for anything development.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's why even Tezos Bakers, I was like, I seen some of the bakers. I think it was Tezberry Pie. He was just building some guides and stuff, some instructional
Oh, those
stuff.
look
I'm like,
fantastic.
yeah, and I bought his NFT and I said, hey, you mind if I use this on the website? Let's get Google to search index this. Like little wins like that help the bakers and helps bring people on and helps inform people. And it may not be much, it may be something little, but every little bit helps. And that's what we're here, is to help build the network and reach out to people. So
and yeah, that's right. Anyone can contribute. You don't have to be necessarily a coder to help the Tezos effort. Everyone can do their part, and whether it be creating something on Tezos, and that kind of brings more mind share when you
yeah, definitely. I've even seen musicians, I seen a post earlier where it was like, hey, I'm a musician and I was, selling my music on the blockchain, and, I've been more successful than I ever was on these other, websites and iTunes or whatever, that takes so much of my money because it's decentralized. They're, reaping more profits because there's cutting out the middleman, and they're getting their music out there and people are buying it and enjoying it. So things like that, that's where I really see things flourishing in the future. So it's awesome. So thank you so much, Leo. If people want to reach out to you, if they want more information about your bakery, what's a good way to get a hold of you?
I mean, I'm on Twitter, but there's so many spam messages that it's probably not the best method to reach out if you're wanting a response.
I know what you mean. The whole crypto thing just brings the spam, right? Seeing on YouTube and everywhere, and you gotta be careful too, So it's like, yeah.
So I actually set up my own Mastodon instance, Tezos.rocks.
Okay. So Tezos.rocks.
Yeah. So you can sign up for an account on there, which I definitely encourage people to. With Mastodon, the way it works is you don't need to sign up to every single one, but once you've signed up with one Mastodon instance, you can follow people on other Mastodon instances. So anyway, my thing on there is leo@tezos.rocks. So if you're already on Mastodon, you can follow me just searching for leo@tezos.rocks.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm really glad we get to talk. I think it's important, and I think it's important that the bakers come out, we talk, and bakers can network with other bakers and get to see them and see what they're doing. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a baker. I had enough for a role, and I started kind of messing around a little bit, trying to learn it, and I got the Ubuntu or whatever, and I kind of get lost in the code sometimes. I didn't know Linux. I didn't have that basis of technical knowledge, so I was kind of learning myself. And I think that's what can draw people to Tezos, because they can have a Raspberry Pi or something. You can make it very easy to get into baking. So it's an interest of mine, and I think it's a lot of interest to other people. I don't know if you've seen what was it, Canadian Bacon? Have you seen his videos on YouTube?
Yes,
he does like baking tutorials and stuff like that. And I thought that's awesome. I thought that's, like those videos are great. And to get to see bakers like that and reaching out, and that's really what draws people in. So they're not, they know that there's people there and they've gone and figured some of this stuff out to make it easier on the new people that are maybe interested in Tezos.
I actually just released a blog post recently. I don't know if you saw on how to set up a baker on a Mac.
Okay.
With a Ledger Nano.
Okay.
So
I'll check it out. Yeah.
Got a Mac.
Where's that at? Where's your blog at?
moneyevery3days.com.
Oh, it's on your website. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at your website. Very cool, man. I didn't get a chance to read through it all, but I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty text heavy. It needs work. The website.
It's everything we do, right? I say action is better than inaction, right? Like, that's why this, even the setup and these interviews are not perfect, but hey, get out there, talk to each other. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know, and
Yeah.
it's just about doing something versus doing nothing, right? Because if you do nothing,
Mm.
nothing's going to get done. So, but I bet you
Yeah.
there's a lot of good info that you have in there. So I want to ask you, where do you think Tezos is going from here? Just a spitball. It's been kind of a
Oh,
interesting fiasco recently with not just Tezos, but you know the whole crypto market. But I have a
yeah.
feeling that things are going to pick back up. I
I
have this optimism that things are going to pick back up. Do you feel that way or no?
Yeah, I'm permanently optimistic. I mean, I've been into crypto for a long time, and I mean, obviously the price does kind of get me down
Mm-hmm.
sometimes,
Sure.
but then I realize like we're so early on, like there's like we've got so far to go, like in terms of like just computer literacy for people, and um like we're at the very, I think we're at the very early stages of crypto, even though like it all kind of blew up with the NFT stuff, and then people kind of become resigned. I feel like NFT needs to be kind of redefined, because
Mm-hmm.
people hear NFT and they think like Beeple and Bored Apes, and it just kind of
There's so
seems like
much more. There's so much more than that. You're right. You're right. And
so, yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you saw it recently, but it reminded me of why crypto is so important. It was like Bank of America and Zelle just this week had an issue where people went to their bank accounts, and this is Bank of America now, you know,
Yeah.
huge, and their money was gone. I mean, disappeared off their bank, and it happened to so many people, and they still haven't even figured it out. They said it was something to do with Zelle, you know, and I'm like, well, crypto solves that, you know. Tezos does solve a lot of things, and it's not always about the price. It's about you know, the independence that it brings to people, and that you are in control of, you know, the assets you hold, whether it's your Tezos or your NFTs you're holding on to. And to me, that's vitally important. I love that independence aspect of that, and people are still. I know sometimes they just haven't. It takes a while for the general public to even catch on, you know,
Yeah.
about what's actually happening, you know, and why it's
I
so
think it was
important.
probably going to be the banks that really adopt Tezos before. Well, I hope it doesn't happen this way, but I mean, already like there's a bank, I think in I'm not sure if it's Switzerland or France. They're they're like offering Tezos to their clients um
Awesome,
through their services. And I mean, because like it's Tezos has like rock solid infrastructure, and it just doesn't go down.
right?
It it just keeps chugging along, and they're
Yeah,
doing things
and,
the
and
right
and
way.
sometimes when things are new, but not we're 5 or 6 years, so it's definitely been proven, right, at this point, because you know we're five
Mm.
six years, and that history helps build that sense of stability, you know, and
Yeah.
people kind of are watching that and need that, and I hope in the future they seem like, okay, well, yeah, it's been around for 5 or 6 years, like you said, doesn't go down, it's reliable, things like that. So it's very cool, and I'm excited about the future. I think it's going to be good. Uh, you know, people will say, well, you know, you've heard this before, like Tezos is a zombie chain and all that, but it's not. You know, if you actually look at what's going on, I feel like there's a lot of people building stuff. There's a lot of people doing projects. Even now, you know, in a crypto winter, people are building, and I
Mm.
think sometimes this is the best time to do those type of things is to build, because things will turn around. I do believe so. I don't think Tezos is going away, and I think it has a future for sure. And hopefully,
Yeah.
part of that future will be money every 3 days, and me and others in the community as we watch Tezos grow and build. Right?
Yeah, I'm really excited about the future for Tezos in terms of, well, Baker. Like they've built it in such a way that anyone can become a baker, and there's theoretically no limit to how many bakers there can be. It's just
Right.
gonna have to be if people can get 6,000 Tezos together or not.
Yeah. The
And
entry level. Yeah,
now
if
is
you're
the
thinking about
perfect
getting
time.
into baking right now, is probably the best entry level. It's a great time to come in and
I think
start
so.
doing some of that at this price point because,
Um, you don't even need to start baking like today. You just need to get the 6,000 Tezos, and you can
right,
figure it all out later.
absolutely,
Delegate
absolutely.
to delegate to a baker in the meantime.
Yeah. Well, this has been a really good interview. Leo, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to talk about for the community or anything else on the top? I know it's hard sometimes, but do you have anything else you would like to say?
Um, I'd just like to give a quick shout out, if I could, to 3route.io. It's a
Okay.
DEX aggregator. So that kind of makes it much more efficient when you're trading any kind of Tezos tokens to get the best price.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to check that out.
Another shout out to Youves, Youves.
Yeah, yeah, I'm very familiar. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I think that what they're doing is really important in terms of offering a way to get like a stable coin, stable token, right, without needing to use a centralized exchange.
Yeah, that's going to be a big deal, I think, in the future, especially with the whole FTX collapse and all that stuff. Yeah. So that's important, I think, and it's great to see people doing that, building these decentralized exchanges and things like that. Once again,
and one more, if I could.
Yeah.
The spicy swap.
Yeah. Yeah.
I should probably disclose I've got some U tokens with the US plug, but
sure.
I don't have any spicy swap governance tokens. I unfortunately had to liquidate in the whole Luna debacle when the prices going down. I had a vault on US anyway.
Right.
I got within a sense of being liquidated, and luckily I was able to keep my Tezos. That's
awesome. That's crazy. Yeah, you're right. It's not just bakers, right? There's so many people building dApps on Tezos, and that I'm focused kind of on bakers now because I feel like you guys are literally the backbone of the chain, because you truly are. But all the other people, it's endless the amount of people in our community that are building things on Tezos. So that's awesome, and shout outs are great. That's how we reach out and we help others in the community and say, hey, look what this guy's doing. Look what Money Every 3 Days is doing, things like that. And so I appreciate you coming out here and talking with me in this kind of community project. I think it's awesome. I really did. I think we have a good interview. Maybe even I'll talk to you later, because after I get to meet some of you bakers, I want to maybe talk to you again later in the future and do a checkup. Like, hey, where are we now 6 months later? Or, how are things still going for you? So you've been a rock solid baker. You've been very successful. Congratulations on Money Every 3 Days. You've really been successful. So that's a good thing. That's awesome.
Thanks,
and I'm sure the community thanks you.
And thanks again for doing this.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I just do it for fun, to be honest with you. And I think people, this will go on YouTube, and people enjoy the content and they love seeing what others are doing, and it helps kind of inspire them to do, maybe their own project or get into baking. So that's awesome. And you are in Australia, and that's another thing. I don't know if there's any other bakers. I'm sure there is more in Australia, but it's just they're around the world.
I don't know any other bakers in Australia.
Really? There you go. That's your ticket, man. Bill, that's
I'm trying to set up Tezos Australia. Well, okay. I am setting it up. I've got tezos.org.au.
Okay.
And yeah, like
that's awesome.
I'm trying to I'm running events in Perth, and hopefully be running some events Australia-wide in the future.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so cool, because I've seen bakers in Japan and really all around the world. But you're definitely holding it down in Australia, and I'm sure there's a lot of people looking to stake. And to me, I'm American. I'm like, where are the ones from the United States? Because I like to support my local people. So I'm sure there's a lot of Australians out there that want to bake with you just because you're an Aussie, and that's awesome. So that's very cool, and those things are important too. So that's a very interesting thing you got going on. And thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for being a baker. Thank you for supporting the community. I think people will enjoy watching this video. I really do.
Yeah, I'm sure. I hope they do.
All right, Leo. Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna let you go. Maybe we'll talk again in the future. If you want to check out Leo's page, I'm kind of adding some stuff to Tezos Bakers to. It's almost going to be like a little MySpace of the bakers. You know, you click on them and get a face to face and see a little bit about them. So I think that's really important to start doing that. So, Leo, thank you so much. I'll catch you later, brother. Thank you.
Thanks. See you soon.